Hi everyone, now as you probably have guessed, I am a fan of doing tutorials based on unique and interesting characters, and I don't think you can get much more interesting and unique than the Warhol superstar Candy Darling. So today I'm going to do a makeup tutorial inspired by Candy Darling. So obviously it's not going to be completely wearable, but I hope you enjoy. Now I'm going to begin by doing a little bit of contouring. I've got this Ket foundation, which is a very dark foundation for me, so you want to use a really dark contour shade for you. I've got a small crown brush to apply this to my contours, which are here, 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 and down there as well. Now Candy's eyebrows are very light and very fine, so these black caterpillars just won't do. So I'm going to cover them. I've got good old Pritt stick. I'm going to take this across my brow hairs, and this will keep the brows in place and help me to cover them, and giving the glue a little time just to set there. I'm going to apply my foundation. I'm going to use Estee Lauder Double Wear Foundation, which is a very good foundation, and I'm sure Candy Darling would have used a very good coverage of foundation, because she absolutely loved makeup. Covering the brows using a stick concealer. Any concealer will do. Now it's time to draw my brows in. Now Candy had very light brows, so I'm going to use my NYX pen and my this is Benefit Browsings. So I'm going to use my own natural brow and just go over it to make them look a little bit higher. I secretly hate doing this brow technique because it just shows how uneven my brows are. Oh well. Okay, I'm going to go on to the eye makeup, and I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do first because I really want to talk to you about Candy Darling. I'm going to start off with a quite natural paint pot by MAC. I'm going to apply that all over the eye area using a MAC 217 soft brush. Now if you aren't aware of Candy Darling, she was a Warhol superstar. She was transgendered, and she had a very very short life, as she tragically died from blood cancer when she was about 30-ish. But she had quite an iconic lifestyle, quite an iconic and wild lifestyle in her short life. Next I'm going to take a dark brown eyeshadow, this is by Shiramura, and with a Duofiber crease brush by Crown. Tilt my head back and get into that socket to get that sort of 60s eye. Candy was very, very popular in the music scene. Musicians loved her. Like, she was featured heavily in a lot of the Velvet Underground songs. Lou Reed wrote quite a few songs about her. Another artist who was a fan of Candy Darling and featured her quite a lot in his music was Morrissey and the Smiths. In fact, the front cover to the single Sheila Take a Bow is a picture of Candy Darling, and also gosh, she's been in so many songs. The song Lola by the Kinks, reportedly, I don't know if it's been, like, they've actually said for definite, it's apparently inspired by Candy Darling. I mean, the song's about a man who goes to a bar and he meets a woman, and you know, he's not entirely sure that she is actually a woman. But you know, that could be really anybody really, but it's rumoured it was based on Candy Darling. Sorry, I'll stop dawdling and go on to the makeup. What I'm doing is I'm tilting my head back and getting as high as I can into my contour there, because I've raised my eyebrows up. I can now work higher with my crease area, so I don't have to use my natural crease line. I can go a little bit higher, which is what Candy did. Now I've got that basic contour in, I'm going to use Typographic by MAC. And I'm going to do the same technique, but I'm going to work on the outer corner, just here. Okay, now if you remember at the beginning of this tutorial I used a Ket foundation for a contour, I'm going to use a Ket foundation but this time for a highlight. I'm going to use this one, and it's shade 1. And I'm going to take this on the bits that need highlighting. So where I contoured is when bits of your face come in. This time I want to bring out the bits that come out. So obviously here, cheekbones, bit on the temple and on the chin. I think probably the most sort of recognised Candy Darling thing was the famous photograph, not by Warhol. You know, she was featured heavily in his films. It was a photograph by Peter Hujar, I hope I'm saying that name right. It's called Candy Darling on Her Deathbed, and if you see it, you might recognise it if you see it. It's a very famous photograph, and it's a picture of her taken lying on bed with full face of makeup, and she's literally days from, I think it was taken like 3 days before she passed away. So she has, you know, she's suffering from the cancer, and she's got a full face of makeup on, and she's just sort of like, look, I'm sure you would recognise it if you saw it, and it's also the album cover to the album I Am Bird Now by Anthony and the Johnsons, which if you don't have, check that album out. I mean, I love it. It might not be for everyone's cup of tea. It is quite dark and depressing. But it won loads of awards, that album, so it's obviously most people like it, and I love it. But it's very, I think it's like Marmite, you either love Anthony and the Johnsons or you don't like them. They're quite interesting characters, particularly Anthony Hegarty. I mean, I love him. I think he's a genius, but you know, I have weird taste. I like to really lighten that lid. So I've got Makeup Academy eyeshadow in Pearl, which I love. It's only £1. I'm going to take this across my lid, and we can go a little bit high if you want to, because you know that's what bringing the eyebrows up was for. Now I'm going to add a sort of tint of colour to my eyes. I'm going to use this light blue from a Sleek Eye Divine Ultra Mattes. I'm actually popping this all over the eye, even with the contour. If you do decide to do a Candy Darling look, you know, whether it be for a party or just for fun, you're really spoilt for choice. I mean, Candy did loads of different styles of makeup. And sometimes it was like really, really, really neat, and sometimes it was really slapdash. So it's really, you know, it's really up to you which one you want to go for. Next up, I'm going to take my Collection 2000 cream liner in black. Now, you don't really want to worry too much about this liner. This is really all about the lashes really. This is just really just to give lashes something to stick to. I'm just going to add a little bit under here as well. Got Benefit They're Real mascara. Now what I'm going to do underneath is I'm going to take my hold my mascara one vertically. Now this mascara one comes with a little, I don't know if you can see that, but the top it's all spiky as well, so it's going to get my lashes underneath. So I'm going to take this onto my bottom lashes. Now what I'm going to do is just with my, I'm just going to pinch these, and this will hopefully help them to clump together, which is what you want. I'm going to add falsies in a second, but this just sort of help to create the effect that I want. Now I'm going to add some false lashes. On the tops I'm going to add these ones, which I think are just darling. The Alya Natural Lights and the number 151, and this, I don't know if you can see that, but they're sort of like fluffy and almost spidery, but you know, not too much. And these are like just some little ones I'm going to put in the bottom. So I'm just going to pop those on now. Blusher. I think La Femme will do. This is by it's by La Femme. This is shade 1. Now I'm going to go for a fuchsia lip. I think Candy likes to go for either red or a really fuchsia pink, so I'm going to go for a pink lip today. I've done quite a few red lips lately, so this makes a change. I'm using a fuchsia lipstick by Revlon. Now I think it's about time we remove all these rollers. Well, I hope you can forgive the sort of full honouredness of this look. It's really meant to be, and I know I don't really suit the makeup because I don't really have that many feminine features about me, in particular compared to Candy Darling. And also I hope you can know how much highlights how uneven my eyes are. But I hope you've enjoyed, and if you want to know a bit more about Candy Darling, there's a documentary on her on YouTube, I believe. I can't remember what the documentary is called, but if you search for Candy Darling on YouTube, it's one of the first options that comes up. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all soon on my next tutorial, and have a great day. See ya!